to the Quiet Warrior Show, where we help top leaders find their pathway to incredible success and a lifetime of happiness. Here is your host, Tom Dutta, the Quiet Warrior.
Welcome to the Quiet Warrior Show. My name is Tom Dutta. I am the Quiet Warrior, and I'm excited to bring to you today a solo cast. I'm going to call this one Skipping Christmas. We're going to have some fun with you today. Here we are, everybody, and it's literally just over a month until that special day we all remember, December the 25th. But are you feeling like I might be feeling these days? I want to let you know that the world has changed. We're in the middle of COVID-19. We're dealing with many things such as isolation in our homes, the world around us that we depend on, going out for maybe dinner, maybe visiting friends, maybe traveling to spend Christmas with loved ones. That's all out of the play. It's not there this year. And in fact, our health authorities are telling us to not get together and do family gatherings because the curve for the pandemic is going in the wrong direction. What? I mean, how do we deal with this? How do we cope with this? So I'm going to take you back to something that I always remember every year. We watch Christmas movies, my wife and I, and when my kids were young, we would watch movies just to experience the joy and the fun of Christmas through other stories. One of my favorites is based on a book by John Grisham. It's called Christmas at the Cranks. If you've never seen it, Tim Allen, who's a comedian, plays an amazing, fun role in that. And it's really about him and his wife, who decided one year, it was really his idea, to skip Christmas, and that they would take all the money saved and go on this fabulous cruise. I won't steal the thunder, but if you find that movie and watch it, how it turns out, it's a very heartwarming story. So I'm going to tell you that we have made a big decision in the Dutta household. My astonishing wife, Anna, and I, we're business partners, and we've been married for coming up in January 25 years. We're going to skip Christmas. Sort of. Well, let me explain. We're not skipping Christmas, but I put on my thinking hat. I'm an author, I'm a creative guy, and I know you can put on your thinking hats and come up with solutions to come up with a plan. And at the end of this short solo cast, I'll tell you about the 3 keys to creating a plan so you can have a happy and healthy Christmas despite what's going on during these times. I want to talk a little bit about brain health and brain science for a minute, because as you know, I'm an advocate for mental health, and I've studied how the brain works. We know we can't have a positive and negative thought at the same time. It's not possible. That's just how our brains work. We also know that we can attach a different meaning to a thought. Now, plants and animals can't do that, but we can take the meaning of something and attach a different meaning. Perhaps it's a happier thought. It's called neuroplasticity. We can shape our brains to think differently. What if I told you that during all these difficult times, you could have the most incredible Christmas ever? You might say, well, Tom, I don't know about that. Or you might say, I believe that. And whatever you say, you're absolutely right. I'm going to tell you about the impacts this time of year in my life that are not positive. We all know about COVID-19. Also, my wife and I, in the work we do, she works in a home office, and I have my business that's based out of my home office. And well, our home becomes our office. There's no separation. We're dealing with isolation, not only isolation from going out, and we enjoy at Christmas time traveling and walking the hotels and seeing the Christmas trees lit up and going out for fun dinner and maybe a theatrical show. We're really about lifestyle. We're foodies, we're into wine, we're into those experiences, and also family, which is number one. But here's the thing, everybody. This year, my daughter, Kalinda, who's 22 years old, amazing young lady, she's in New Brunswick, Canada, the other side of the country. And I haven't seen her for over a year, and she won't be home this year. WestJet, one of the 2 carriers that flies into New Brunswick, has suspended all their flights. But even that, with the restrictions on travel, we wouldn't go to see her. We wouldn't want to risk her and her boyfriend and her health. You know how hard that is when you can't see the loved ones? Secondly is our other side of our family, our 2 boys, My stepsons, they're grown and they're married, and well, there won't be any big family gathering this year. And we had a little shadow, my baby Shih Tzu. You might have seen my eulogy recently done. Well, after 16 and a half years of amazing memories and love and joy from our little miniature dog, we had to put her down. She reached the end of her life. And so now I have pictures and memories of her opening or trying to open a little dog bone we'd give her at Christmas, or tail wagging and unconditionally watching us decorating and putting up the top of the tree and the lights on. And she would take it in and just every year be a part of our Christmas. In fact, I can't even imagine Christmas this year without her. And as I'm recording this interview in my studio, I'm looking to the left and we have her dog bed and the little urn with her ashes. And, I'm almost holding back my tears here, but she's gone too. Well, it's just Anna and I. And there's a lot of stress. And so what do we do? So based on the story of Christmas, skipping Christmas, the story of the Cranks, we're not really skipping Christmas. We just decided to recreate Christmas in a different way. So you ready for this? So I want to give you another mental health hack, or a picture of what anxiety looks like. Everybody, anxiety is a real human condition. We all experience it. And if you experience it in a serious way, anxiety is worrying about the future or worrying about the past, not staying present in the moment. And it can lead to chronic generalized anxiety. But we all have it. If sometimes during Christmas you're shopping and the traffic's busy and you're worrying about, what's going to happen at the dinner with the in-laws you haven't seen for a while. Is it going to be positive conversation or is there going to be problems that sometimes happen? We get anxious. Anxiety can come in different forms. It can be racing heart. It can be our body temperature just getting a little bit warmer. That doesn't mean that we have a mental illness, but anxiety, when it becomes constant or persistent, we sometimes need to work on it. So I learned this, that here's a definition of anxiety. It's a fraction. If you draw this on a board, and in school in math was not one of my greatest subjects. I had to work at it. The anxiety equation, if we draw it as a fraction, if you can visualize this, the numerator is this: bad things will happen. The denominator is I can cope with bad things that will happen. And so how do you lower the anxiety equation? Well, you focus on increasing your brain's ability to feel positive, that it can deal with things that are going to happen that maybe not so positive. And the numerator, you change your thoughts by teaching your brain through creating new thoughts that good things are going to happen. And so once you work on those two things, you can actually reduce anxiety. Part of my plan was to recreate Christmas, not skip it, in a way where it creates a flood of positive thoughts and happiness for my wife and I. So I won't get down to telling you where we're going to be and what we're going to do, because we're not hosting a party. But here's some of the things we're going to do this Christmas. The first one, I'm going to relive positive experiences. We all have those memories from past Christmases. I don't know about you, but I have thousands of pictures that are saved online in my Dropbox. And I have lots of memories. We have ornaments for a tree that sometimes carry a lifetime of memories, like the one that was from our daughter's first Christmas. So how do we create positive experiences? How do we separate from our no Christmas tree, non-decorated home this year? Well, we're going to escape. We're going to go away and stay in a local hotel for 2 nights. And at this time of year, when I was checking out the hotels, many of them are open with COVID protocols. The rates are incredibly cheap. And I was able to get 2 nights at a hotel. Now, what hotel did I pick? I picked one that has incredible memories. There's a boutique hotel in downtown Vancouver that Anna and I have been going to every year since we met. And when we go there, it's usually for a spa and dinner and 1 or 2 nights. But I remember each time we went there was something going on in our lives, whether it was the birth of our daughter or the achievements our children were having, or our careers blossoming, perhaps our relationship growing. And sometimes we went there when we were burned out or we had some challenges in life, and it invigorated us. It got us back to thinking more positively, getting perspective by leaving those negative thoughts behind. Did you know that if you are living in your home during isolation and all the stresses and pressures, that your brain, just by looking at the environment in your home, it triggers all those painful memories of what's going on with COVID and the world today. But if you go to another place where you can teach your brain only to think about all the things that you remember there that were happy, positive experiences, your brain naturally goes into this state of joy. It says, what's going on here? This is something familiar, and it starts pulling out all the past experiences. So you get the picture. We're going to stay at our favorite boutique hotel for 2 nights, and I've chosen the nights on purpose to be Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, and then we'll be heading out on Boxing Day. What does that do? Well, that floods us with positive experiences and thoughts. It gives us this beautiful place that we so love, and it leaves behind, it separates us from that place that is known as an isolation cell right now. And maybe that's your home. Well, that's certainly some days how our home feels. The other one was, I talked about family not being here, our dog's gone. How do we deal with that? Well, by going to a place away from here, then we escape that waking up in the morning and seeing that family's not here. We escape that. We don't think about it. We don't worry about we should have done more for family and tried to find a way to have them over for dinner. All that guilt and anxiety disappears. Why? Because when we go to the hotel, in past when we've gone to this hotel, we didn't bring family. It's a sacred place that we go and it just feels right. So we're not going with family. Sadly, we don't have a dog anymore, just the two of us. And that's normal. Feels right. And it's happy. And that increases our anxiety equation and makes us feel like we can cope with this. We don't have to worry about this year letting other people down. Are you with me on this? Are you following? So we're not having all these family engagements, but it doesn't matter because we're going on a mini vacation, which our brain says it's normal not to have family around for a couple of days because we did that before. Let me talk about dinner. Dinner's a big one. My wife's Italian, and of course, I never had that closeness with my family. If you've read my book, The Way of the Quiet Warrior, my childhood was adverse, and my parents divorced early, and I really was homeless for a period of time, and not on the street, but had to live with my uncle, and then I got married at an early age, and that didn't last more than 7 years, and then I found the love of my life, Anna. Throughout those times, I experienced in all the homes I was part of that there was this time of the year where everybody came together for dinner. But that's not happening this year for all the things I just told you about. What's your situation for dinner this year? So what are we doing? Well, the hotel we're going to, I researched and found that they have a 4-course dinner with an optional wine pairing if you want. It's actually cooked by a Michelin star chef, and I'm a foodie, so that's a big deal to me. And it's going to be a decorated room in this beautiful boutique hotel. By the way, the ratio of guests to servers is 7-1, so there's not a lot of people who go to this hotel. That's why we love it. The dinner will be on the 25th, the Christmas day, and it's reserved for a certain time. And here's the magic. We don't have to cook. We don't have to worry about it. We get served. And not only that, but for 2.5 hours, they've given us a table that's protected by COVID distancing where we can feel safe. What are we going to do at that dinner? Well, I'm going to think really hard before I go and surprise Anna about some of the memories from the dinners we've had there. Some of the things we would sit and talk about, sipping a martini and having past conversations, and maybe bring those up and talk about them so we can relive positive experience. Did you know one of the ways to practice good mental health is to write down a positive experience you had from the day before? Write it down on your paper and then read it back. What you're actually doing, and the brain doesn't know the difference, is you're reliving that experience, and it's wiring your brain to relive it and find peace, joy, happiness, whatever that positive thought and emotion is. So that's what we'll be doing. We'll be sitting, having a 4-course dinner being served and looked out for safely. And we'll be talking about happy experiences of Christmas from the past. The other thing we're going to do is my wife's on to this one. She bought a Christmas ornament, 2 of them. One will be sent to our daughter across the country, and one will be for us. And we will hold that until next year when we are back to putting the tree up. And we'll actually look at that and remember the year we skipped Christmas, well, sort of, and we went away and had Christmas somewhere else. And let me talk about time and stress. Christmas is a time of high stress. Many people talk about it. They're on a treadmill of work, and then there's all the shopping that has to be done, and cooking the dinners and inviting the family. And then, of course, we're invited to go here and there. And if you're like me and you have a blended family and your children grow up having to divide their time amongst multiple families, and now having a daughter who has a boyfriend, there would be pressure for us to go visit maybe them and their parents across the country. I'm just getting tired thinking about it, everybody, because it's been a hard year. So this is what we decided to do. We're not going to decorate our home in any meaningful way or put up a tree. I know, wait a minute, don't call me a Grinch. What are you saying? Well, if you watch the Christmas with the Cranks movie, you'll find that, they thought that Mr. Crank was a bit of a Grinch. But let me tell you what we're doing. You see, to unpack all those decorations, put them up for a period of a couple weeks, buy a tree, and, we go all out and buy a nice tree and we have it flocked with snow. It looks real and decorated. There's just Anna and I now. For us, that's a lot of work. And Christmas is about Jesus Christ. It's about the birth of Christ, their actual story and the meaning, and also serving others and decorating the house, putting up the Christmas village, which I always did. I spent hours putting that together. Well, that was all to serve others, to create a nice experience, a wonderful, warm feeling for my granddaughter and for my daughter and my kids. Well, even though Anna and I love that, we decided this year to skip it. And we're not feeling bad about it. Actually, I was surprised, but Anna said, I'm okay with that because we're replacing it with another happy thought. You see, at the hotel we're going, they have these beautiful decorated Christmas trees in many places in the hotel, in the lounge, in the wonderful award-winning restaurant, in the walk-in lobby that has a big fireplace, old-fashioned. And we can go and sit and sip on a drink or tea and just look and live vicariously through those trees. We don't have to worry about time. Also, shopping online. All my shopping's done, and we're only November 15th, everyone. Have you done yours? We're shopping online, and my gifts are slowly arriving. So we basically wanted to create an experience where we have traveling gifts, and as if you were getting on a plane to go on a trip to Hawaii if times were normal, and you would take all your gifts maybe in a bag. We're packing our gifts in a bag and taking them with us to the hotel. And we will sit in front of our favorite tree, or perhaps just in our room on the bed with, the Christmas lights out in the distance through the window. And we will exchange gifts and we'll talk about the real meaning of Christmas. And it won't be skipping Christmas. It'll be wonderful because we're replacing it with a positive experience where our brain can relive Christmas in a different way. That is our plan this year, everybody. That is our plan. And so let me tell you about the 3 keys to creating a plan if you're skipping Christmas and creating Christmas somewhere else like we are, to create joy and happiness and only positive thoughts and getting rid of worry and anxiety about this year. Number 1, plan early. You see, I planned early by going to the hotels and researching a little bit of time online, and everything is booked. I don't have to worry about it, and I got the best deals. Number 2, support local. Support your local economy. It's better to spend the money that we would be spending on a tree and other things for home at a local hotel where we maybe can have a great experience and be happier, but also know we're supporting our local economy. Number 3, flood your brain with happy thoughts by simply recreating Christmas in a way where there's excitement. Did you know that sometimes I call it the joy ride. If you do something that you've never done for the first time, it creates these endorphins and chemicals in the brain, a sense of euphoria or happiness. It's exciting. We're already starting to get excited about skipping Christmas, everybody. And my amazing wife, Anna, is all on board. And that's the biggest part of it. You have to be in this together. The last thing I've decided to do, because family is everything to my wife, is her family are separated. They're on what's called Vancouver Island. It's about a 90-minute trip over the big British Columbia ferries. And so after we check out of the hotel, I've arranged to drop her at the ferries. She'll walk on, and on the other side, she'll get a warm hug from her sister. her sister who will drive her to their home. And in a very small way, they'll spend some time together and she'll be able to be with the people she loves and cares about, her sister and their family. And I'm giving up time with Anna because that's what marriage and relationships is about. It's about giving and serving. And when you do that for the person in your life, when you do that for others, everyone, you'll find that God rewards you tenfold. I'll be staying behind, watching Christmas movies, doing some work, maybe doing some writing, and just being grateful for all the things I have, but knowing that somewhere across the country, my daughter is having her first home Christmas with her boyfriend, not having to worry about mom and dad coming home. Somewhere across the water, my wife is having a wonderful time and missing me, but she's with her sister. And I'm at peace because this Christmas, we were able to give hope and happiness in just a small way to those around us that we care about. Everybody, I hope you do the best you can this Christmas. And please know that it's not about what you do. It's about who you do it for. It's not about money. It's about the thought, and it's about loving other people. So take some time, experience fond memories, appreciate what you have. And maybe, just maybe this year, skip the traditional Christmas and create Christmas in a new way that maybe will change your life over the years to come. My name is Tom Dutta. Thank you for being with me today on the Quiet Warrior Show. This is a solo cast. You'll be able to find this show as a YouTube premiere. I'll be releasing it sometime near to the December 2020, and the podcast will come out very soon. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Quiet Warrior Show. KRE-AT is a motive-based leadership development firm. www.KREAT.ca